The fight for existence between Israel and Palestine is a long-standing one. Today, India stands firm with Israel against the attacks on it by Hamas. But it wasn't always so. In fact, there was a time when Mahatma Gandhi himself was never in support of the Israelis or the forced settlement of Jews in the Palestinian lands. Did you know why Gandhiji thought this way? He was aware of the religious persecution of the Jewish community. He likened the persecution of the Jews as untouchables by the Christians, similar to how Hindus viewed the untouchables in India at that point of time. He was also friends with the Jews in his time that he spent in South Africa. Gandhi wrote in his article, The Jews, that the parallel between their treatment by the Christians and the treatment of the untouchables by the Hindus is very close. But he was still not in favor of the Jews settling in Palestine. In 1938, he wrote in his weekly magazine, The Harijan, Palestine belongs to the Arabs, in the same sense that England belongs to the English and France belongs to the French. During the Second World War, the German persecution of the Jewish community began, where a lot of Jews were massacred in concentration camps. But Gandhi's stand on the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian lands never changed. Gandhi's views about the Jewish settlements in Israel did not change even after the World War II. He wrote in one of his articles in 1946, right after the world saw how the Jews had been massacred in concentration camps by the Germans. Gandhi said, I do believe that the Jews have been wrongly, cruelly wronged by the world. Ghetto is, so far as am I aware, the name given to Jewish locations in many parts of Europe. But for their heartless persecution, probably no question of return to Palestine would ever have arisen. The world should have been their home. Mahatma Gandhi was of the view that there should not be any Zionist state and its creation in Palestinian lands. He said, it is wrong to impose the Jews on the Arabs. It would be a crime against humanity to reduce the proud Arabs so that Palestine can be restored to the Jews, partially or wholly as their national home. Gandhi's arguments were based on two basic principles. Gandhi felt that Palestine already belonged to the Arabs, and this was the settlement of the Jews that was being enabled by the Britishers. Gandhi also opposed, like we all did in India, the British administration in Palestine, and he felt that the Jews could only settle in Palestine if they had the goodwill of the Arabs in that area. There were two basic principles on which Mahatma Gandhi thought that creation of a Zionist state in Palestine would have been wrong. First, it was wrong to reduce the proud Arabs in Palestine, was his thought. Second, he also thought that the British administration in Palestine was wrong, and the British imperialism was the one that was promising a homeland to the Jews in Palestine. Gandhi thought that this would be fundamentally an act of violence, and the Jews could not have settled in Palestine without the goodwill of the Arabs, and he didn't want that the Jews settle in that land on the force of a British gun. Therefore, Gandhi never believed in the Balfour Declaration of 1917, in which the British promised a homeland to the Jews. Gandhi also was opposed to the idea of Jews living in a piece of land and felt that they will never live in anywhere in any country across the world. He held his view on Palestine-Israel problem till his death, blaming the singling out and the wronging of Jews on the Christians. The citizenship of the world should have and would have made them honored guests of any country, he wrote. Their thrift, their varied talent, their great industry should have made them welcome in any country. It is a blot on Christian world that they have been singled out, owing to a wrong reading of a New Testament for prejudice against them. Gandhi's ideas were so profound that this had a deep influence on India's earlier foreign policy as well. India opposed the United Nations resolution of 1812, which partitioned mandatory Palestine between Jews and the Arabs, later adopted by the UN General Assembly in November 1947. Nehru also blamed the British imperialism for problems in Palestine. Yet, India did not recognize Israel as a nation till 1950 and only began building diplomatic relations with Israel in 1992 after the then Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao took a bold step to move forward to bring Israel closer to India without worrying about the alienation from the Arab world. India's friendship with Israel today is the result of the seed sown in 1992. And as they say, friendship is tested when times are tough, and that's why India's shift in foreign policy today points towards Israel, and India stands with Israel in its firm resolve and condemns the terrorist attacks by Hamas, but also believes in the theory of two-state creation where the Palestinian Arabs as well as the Jews could live peacefully with this resolution.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.